Welcome to the online library project where we learn English and spend our time comfortably and usefully. Today we are going to spend some time reading together. We're going to read a text entitled Honesty is the Best Policy. Honesty, sincerity, frankness are the qualities that every person appreciates. What else do you appreciate in people most of all? What other qualities do you respect in people? What about if people lie to you? Do you like that? I think nobody likes to be lied to. What do we call people who never tell lies? We call them honest people, people with dignity. On this tree, you can see a lot of virtues that we respect in people. Such virtues as forgiveness, iertare, responsibility, responsabilitate, confidence, încredere, and many others are the virtues that inspire us to believe in a person and think of them as our friend. The saying, honesty is the best policy, sinceritatea este cea mai bună cale de urmat, is very popular because many people lie. It is in our power to not lie, and we have a lot of respect from people if we never lie to them. Before we read the text, let us work with some vocabulary. X, luck, truth, to dive, to drop, to sleep, foolishly. The first word is X, an X, un topor. Next word is luck, noroc, luck. Truth, adevăr, truth. The next word is a verb, to dive, a plonja, a se arunca în apă, to dive. To drop, a scăpa, to drop. To sleep, a aluneca, to sleep. Foolishly, nesăbuit, prostește, foolishly. Okay, now you shall read and listen to the text. Honesty is the best policy. A woodman was once working on the bank of a deep river. Suddenly, his axe slipped from his hand and fell into the water. "Oh, I have lost my axe," he cried. "What shall I do? The water is very deep and I am afraid to dive into it. What shall I do? Who can help me?" Mercury heard the poor man's cries and appeared before him. "What is the matter, poor woodman?" he asked. "What has happened that you are so sad and unhappy?" Mercury listened to the man's story and then said, "Perhaps I can help you." He dived into the water and brought up a golden axe, un topor auriu. "Is this yours?" he asked. "No, that is not mine," was the answer. Mercury dived a second time and this time brought up a silver axe, un topor de argint. "Is this yours?" he asked. Again, the answer was no. So Mercury dived a third time and this time brought up the very axe that the woodman had lost. "This is my axe," cried the man. "Yes, that is my own good axe. Now I can work again." Mercury was so pleased with the man's honesty that he at once made him a present of the other 2 axes and disappeared before the woodman could even say thank you. The woodman went home very pleased with his good luck. He told his friends all about it. One of them decided to try his luck. So he went to the same place, dropped his axe into the river, and cried out, "Oh, I have lost my axe. What shall I do? Who can help me?" Mercury appeared as before. He listened to the man and dived into the river. Again, he brought up a golden axe. "Is this yours?" he asked. "Yes, it is," said the second woodman. "You are not telling the truth," said Mercury. "You shall neither have this axe nor the one that you so foolishly dropped into the water." So this was the story. Honesty is the best policy. Now we are going to work with the text, and our task is to read the sentences in correct order. So here are the sentences. Mercury was pleased with the man's honesty and made him a present of the other 2 axes. Mercury didn't help the woodman's friend because he was not honest. A woodman was working on the bank of a deep river. One of Woodman's friends decided to try his luck. The woodman's axe slipped from his hand and dropped into the water. Mercury brought the woodman's axe. And the last one, Mercury heard the poor man's cries and decided to help him. So let us see what the correct order of the sentences is. A woodman was working on the bank of a deep river. The woodman's axe slipped from his hand and dropped into the water. Mercury heard the poor man's cries and decided to help him. Mercury brought the woodman's axe. Mercury was pleased with the man's honesty and made him a present of the other 2 axes. One of the woodman's friends decided to try his luck. Mercury didn't help the woodman's friend because he was not honest. Let us continue with working with the text. This time, we're going to have sentences, but one word in each sentence is wrong. Our task is to identify the word, correct it, and read the sentence. So the first one. A woodman was painting on the bank of a deep river. So of course, was painting is not correct because he was working on the bank of a deep river. Suddenly, his brush slipped from his hand and dropped into the water. So brush, it's not correct, it is the axe. Suddenly his axe slipped from his hand and dropped into the water. Mercury heard the poor woman's cries. So it was not a woman, it was a woodman. Number 4. The woodman went into the woods very pleased. So he was not at all pleased, he was really sad. Next one. He told his enemies all about his adventure. Well, not the enemies, but his friends. One of his friends decided to try his ex. Well, it wasn't his ex, it was his luck. One of his friends decided to try his luck. Number 7. Mercury agreed to give the second woodman his ex. So Mercury didn't agree, he didn't want to give the second woodman his ex because he lied to him. Now, our task is to write the questions to the answers. We have done similar exercises before, and here we have to be really careful with how we form questions if we have a tense. In this case, most of our sentences will be in the past simple tense. The first that we do is we identify the verb, and after that we work with the verb into the interrogative form. So the first sentence is: a woodman was once working on the bank of a deep river. So the verb is was once working. And our question is: where was a woodman once working? Number 2. The woodman dropped his axe in the river. And we have the verb dropped in the past simple, and we shall use the auxiliary verb did. Who dropped his axe in the river? But why didn't we use here did? Because we have here the question with who. When we form questions with who to ask for the subject, we do not use the auxiliary verb did. Next, Mercury heard the poor man's cries. What did Mercury hear? Next, Mercury dived 3 times into the water. How many times did Mercury dive into the water? Mercury brought up 3 axes. How many axes did Mercury bring up? The woodman went home very pleased with his good luck. How did the woodman go home? The woodman's friends went to the same place. Went to. Where did the woodman's friend go? Sentence number 8. Mercury appeared before the second woodman when he heard him crying. Appeared. When did Mercury appear before the second woodman? Okay, now we are going to complete the definitions by choosing the best answer. A man who never tells lies is brave, honest, or friendly. It is honest, right? So a man who never tells lies is honest. Who is someone who looks after a forest? A woodman, a farmer, or a traveler? A woodman. A woodman is someone who looks after a forest. What is used for cutting down trees? So first of all, N gives us a clue that the word starts with a vowel, and of course it is the X. An X is used for cutting down trees. What means to jump head first into the water? Dive, run, or swim? It is to dive. To dive means to jump head first into the water. To allow something to fall means to throw, to put, or to drop. How do you think? It is to drop. To allow something to fall means to drop. Now it is reflection time. Think of a story that you could apply to this saying, honesty is the best policy. Have much inspiration in writing your story.